Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Kryptonite Core. If you're new to the channel, have no fear because John Woods is here and I'm ready to talk and do my predictions and maybe do a few other wrestling news reports throughout the wrestling landscape. Have a good time with it, you know. That's the main goal right there, baby boy. That's the main goal. You might be wondering what I'm drinking today. I'm drinking some a good old faithful kombucha, ginger berry. Got to clean up my sources right now. So I'm going to start off with the WWE Elimination Cahmber. Even though TNA is having their show tonight, okay? So, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to actually start with No Surrender because it's happening tonight. Yeah, February 23rd, 2024. And that is today. All right, so No Surrender. So TNA recently just turned into TNA again. All right. They were Impact Wrestling for many, many years, and they had a lot of success. All right. And in the last few years, they've been operated and controlled and, you know, driven by the creative design and creative mind of Scott D'Amore. Well, Scott D'Amore just got kicked to the curb and got fired. And the reasons are really unclear at this moment. The rumor is also that Scott tried to purchase Impact Wrestling or TNA Impact Wrestling or whatever you want to call it for $10 million. Wow, good Lord, man. And Anthem declined the offer. And then they fired him soon after. So tonight we're having TNA second pay-per-view since becoming TNA yet again. And I think that this is a step in the right direction. And I think they have a lot of good stories. But I also think there's a lot of holes in the product that could be, you know, fixed and, you know, manifested into something beautiful if they actually try a little bit harder with certain things. And I think that certain things I think certain stories on the roster and throughout the show are going to be, you know, ballooned up and become a bigger and massive deal over time. And I'll talk about those as I get to those. And also talk about some matches that I would have preferred to see at No Surrender or in the future of TNA rather than what we are currently getting. But we'll go step by step. So first tonight at TNA No Surrender, and I'm going to go, you know, with the matches. So we got the system. We got Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers with Alicia Edwards, which I have to say, that is one of the weirdest tag teams I've ever seen or heard of. You know, the system operated. The leader is Moose, you know, and then you got Eddie Edwards and you got Brian Myers, and with the lady Alicia Edwards. All right. Weird. I don't like it. Eddie Edwards, tremendous, incredible athlete. I started watching Eddie Edwards back in the day, Ring of Honor, when he was tag team partners with Davey Richards in one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I know there's a lot of people who will disagree, but they're technically inclined. They're high risk taking, offense playing. They were incredible on the mic. Eddie was more slow and grounded when he spoke, and Davey was woo. He would smack you in the mouth, you know. But Davey Richards is incredible, in my opinion, my estimation. A guy who is overlooked in a lot of ways, Davey Richards. But this is not about Davey. This is about the system. And so the system, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, are taking the Intergalactic Jet Settlers, which is the weirdest name of all time. All right, good Lord, man, you're going to come up with a tag team name and you're going to call yourself that? How in the heck are people going to remember that name? All right, people aren't going to remember that name, man. And I'm going to guess that Kushida came up with the name, but So, anyways, it's got Kushida and Kevin Knight, which Kevin Knight's an incredible talent. Kushida, man, he doesn't get enough love that he truly deserves. Kushida is one of the best wrestlers in this company, all right, and in all wrestling, actually. When he was in New Japan, like as one of their marquee junior heavyweights, he did incredible. When he was in WWE, he did incredible, but he wasn't given enough in WWE, I don't think, because he could have shined and he could have actually been like, a world champion, the NXT world champion, what, good old Dragunov is doing at the moment. Good Lord, man. So that's the pre-show match. And I think that the system, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, as weird as a team that they are, I think that they're going to pull out a victory. And because they're more cohesive, but they're also into this faction that is weird, like really weird. They have the same goal, I guess, in mind, but that's about it. All right, they don't have anything else in mind besides having the same dang goal, and that same dang goal is whether they are in control, and so they're going to win. They're going to cheat to win. They're going to do everything in their ability and their power to pick up a huge victory in that match. All right, yeah, it's a pre-show, so not a lot of people care about that pre-show match. All right, they care about the other matches on the show, which there's a few other matches on the show that I'm not really fond of, but we'll get to those as well. We have the second pre-show match, which is Speedball Mountain, which is another weird tag team name. Which, who in the heck are coming up with these TNA wrestling, tag team names? I mean, good Lord, man. You have the Intergalactic Jet Settlers, all right, and then you have the Speedball Mountain tag teams. Those are two of the weirdest tag team names that I have ever heard in my entire life, and I my good Lord, man, you must have some commitment in your veins, in your body, in your soul, in your heart to have that type of kind of tag team names that just pop up in your mind. You're like, what kind of tag team name can I call this team? And you're like, whoa, all right, I'm going to call us the Speedball Mountain. What in the heck is going on here today? That is the weirdest thing. Man, I keep saying it's the weirdest, but we may come up with a weird team name by the end of this show. Oh, man. So anyways, that team is made up of Trent Seven, which his buddies, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, are doing incredible, aren't they? Because they got a match at the WWE Elimination Cahmber now, don't they? And I'll say my predictions on that a little bit later, but Trent Seven, I wish, was with them. That would be amazing when Trent Seven returns to the WWE, after a little bit of a time away and trying to find himself, and he rejoins Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne and gets the band back together, if you will. Anyways, they're taking on the Rascals, Zachary Wentz and Trey McGall. Oh, boy. Now, Trey McGall and Zachary Wentz, the Rascals, are amazing. I mean, good Lord, man. They are heels at the moment, but they are two of the best, all right? Former TNA World Tag Team Champions. Also, Zachary Wentz is former Tag Team Champions in multiple promotions. Multiple. This used to be in CCW known as Graves, Scarlett and Graves. They were incredible back in CCW. And then they went on to TNA and won multiple championships there as well. And then they would make a trip to NXT and some stuff would happen, and Wentz or Nash Carter would be released from his contract. And that is very sad, but but now he's in a better spot. So we got Speedball Mountain taking on the Rascals, and oh man. So Mike Bailey and Trent Seven are weird, like a weird team. Two guys who I really don't think should be teaming up, but what do I know, right? I'm going to go with the Rascals. I think the Rascals, I like them. They're incredible talents, and they're pretty good heels, all right? And I want them to win. and I want them to cheat to win. All right, I want them to cheat so heavy to win. And also I want the team of Trent Seven and Speedball Mike Bailey. I want them to have like a little bit of combustion. All right, I want them to argue. I want them to fight. I want them to bicker back and forth, like an old married couple, and get nasty with one another, and yeah. So those matches I don't really care about. Okay, to be honest, I don't care about them, But we'll give a little bit of feedback on them, and then we're gonna head into. Well, I'm gonna get rid of the matches I really don't care about on the show. Matches that I don't think have a lot of story to them. A lot of matches that don't have a lot of spunk to them. A lot of matches that nobody cares about. Like, it's not that I don't care about the competitors in the match. It's just that there's no story. They're just thrown together. Like, if you just throw 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 competitors in a match and just say, hey, man, you're going to go in there and you're going to have a competitive fight and go out there and do whatever you need to do to win, that's great, right? That's great. That's tremendous. But if there's no story, if there's no direction, true direction, then a lot of people are going to tune out. And if they're tuning out, normally, most of the time, that means it's not going to survive, pretty much. So one of those matches that I'm talking about is PCO versus Khan, and that is a match that is forgettable. Like, I don't really care about this match at all. Big Khan, he's forgettable. Since his days as the Ascension in NXT, he's done nothing. All right, he got released after his early stint in NXT. When he returned to NXT, he got released along with his buddy, good old Ascension. They got released, and then Big Khan recently, in the last year, has returned to, or I shouldn't say return. He made his debut in Impact Wrestling, and he teamed up with Mr. Diener, and Diener didn't really lead him anywhere except to the bottom feeder. All right. So now we have these two guys hooking it up. PCO, he did really well in Ring of Honor when Ring of Honor was Ring of Honor. All right, not Ring of Honor now, owned by Tony Khan, which has too many championships and isn't booked correctly, or I shouldn't say correctly, isn't booked efficiently to the standard that it should be booked, because a lot of people they overassume or they overanalyze certain things, and they have people flip-flopping on all the shows. So Ring of Honor and Collision and Dynamite, and it's just too much. All right. So you have all that happening. But when Ring of Honor was Ring of Honor and Ring of Honor was good, like dang good, PCO is one of their top guys. All right. And he did incredible. He had incredible stories. And so this match right here is just going to be two big guys beating the holy heck out of each other, destroying one another, decapitating one another, and wanting to win the match. Hopefully. I mean, they're both not going out there, hey, I hope I lose. But, maybe they do. But PCO is going to go out there, in my predictions, is going to go out there and beat Big Khan and become the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. All right. Another match on this show that I'm not really, doesn't have really a lot of story or direction. It's probably the women's tag team match, because we got Decay, the women's tag team champions in TNA Impact. We got TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship match between Decay and MK Ultra, which Jessica Havoc and Rosemary, I mean, they're best friends in real life. They're really best friends, best old buddy, old pal, And they really have similar characteristics. Rosemary is one of the most popular women in Impact Wrestling history. All right, she's really over. She knows how to get over. She knows how to get over to the standard that she's loved by the audience or hated by the audience. All right, because she's had a longer longevity of a career than Abyss. In that group, Abyss, Crazy Steve, and herself, she's had the most championships since the group was formed or post group. All right, and I know Crazy Steve's the current TNA digital champion, but that championship is as forgettable as, you know, a few other things in Impact Wrestling, including his career in Impact Wrestling. But we got that match. So that match is going to be hard hitting, and I think they should give him some time because, you know, that match could be incredible. It could be really like four gifted ladies who are really overlooked in Impact Wrestling, who should be potentially the women's champion, you know, the Knockouts champion. And I'm going to have to say that Jessica Havoc and Rosemary are going to retain those straps and walk out with their heads held high, and they're going to be victorious in that particular match. Now, I think that's mainly because they're not going to have a whole bunch of championships like changing hands on this show. Okay, they're going to have a few, which I'll get to those, but I don't think they're going to have a whole bunch of championships changing hands because I don't think that's the name of the game. I don't think that's the name of the show for titles that just randomly change hands and all that stuff. So, yeah. So Rosemary and Jessica Havoc, you know, are going to retain their titles over MK Ultra, which is Misha Slamovich and Killer Kelly, which, you know, are both incredible athletes. Killer Kelly used to actually be in NXT UK, actually. And a lot of people may not know that. But yeah, so now let's go to the actual show, TNA No Surrender that I'm actually excited about and I actually want to see. This first match, I want to see open the show. All right, Chris Sabin is defending his X Division Championship against the former Mustafa Ali. He's still known as Mustafa Ali, but he's now in TNA Impact Wrestling, challenging for that championship. And I'm gonna take a little swag. All right. So Chris Sabin is defending his TNA X Division Championship against Mustafa Ali. Now, earlier I said that I was really hoping and, you know, thinking that TNA was going to go in a different way because Alex Shelley is the former TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And I definitely think that they should have went this route. I think that Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin should be fighting each other, maybe not at No Surrender, but in a TNA wrestling ring where it was title for title, where the TNA World Championship and the TNA X Division Championship were both on the line, and they are best friends. So, I mean, why not, you know? But then Alex Shelley loses the TNA World Championship to Moose, and Chris Sabin is still the X Division champion. However, I don't think that's going to be long-lived. I think that at this event, at No Surrender, these two are going to have the best match of the night, or potentially the best match of the night. And Mustafa Ali is going to prove to the entire world why he is who he is. All right. And he's an incredible athlete. He was overlooked in WWE a lot of the time. And when he challenged for the Cruiserweight Championship meant something. Like, it was slowly after that, him and Cedric Alexander's feud for that title, it slowly started to become nothing. It became worthless. All right. And everybody who held that championship meant something, but it didn't mean as much. It meant less. And so what I'm simply saying is, what is this? Oh, we got somebody that commented because and they commented. I don't know where they commented at, but whatever. But anyways, I'll respond to that later. But yeah, I'm speaking fast and I'm speaking on my toes. So I may have not spoke up to your par, I guess, but yeah, I'm just trying to get a whole bunch of stuff off my, because I'm trying to make a video on multiple different topics on multiple different situations. So yeah, you might think, oh man, this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about, Trust me, I know more about professional wrestling than you do, all right? Because I go all the way back to like Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States of America, being a wrestler. So, I may have misspoke a little bit on that, but it's just simply because I'm speaking really fast and trying to get a lot of stuff out in an hour video. So I apologize. All right. So anyways, I say Mustafa Ali will defeat Chris Sabin to become the new TNA X Division champion. at the show tonight. And I think it's going to be, I'm going to say it's going to be the best match of the night. And I think it should be the opener. Then we have Jordynne Grace defending her TNA Knockouts World Championship against Mrs. Shaw. This has a little bit of build to it, but it has more build like Jordynne Grace being in the WWE Royal Rumble makes me like, she might appear in WWE again. And her teaming up with Naomi again was like, maybe there might be some kind of a future agreement between these two promotions. I think this match is going to be good. But I don't think that the TNA, I don't think they need to spend too much time like building this match up a little bit. Like, you know, when the match is going on, they need to just go out there and just clamor each other. Jordynne Grace is going to be the main one taking the beating in this match. You know, Shaw has a lot of people in her corner, and Jordynne Grace has nobody. So I like to see Jordynne Grace take everybody out. All her buddies, I'd like her to take every one of them out. But I would like to see Shaw lose. Not really a fan of Shaw. She's a decent heel, but she's not over. And I think there needs to be a bigger deal, a bigger lady that needs to be the one to knock off Jordynne Grace, especially since she's held the championship multiple times now. She's super over and super intriguing, and I really enjoy watching Jordynne Grace go out there and perform. And I think it really making us, you know, it wasn't a super long of an appearance in the Royal Rumble, but I think that really got her over as a super big babyface in the audience. Because, I mean, in the eyes of the audience, the WWE and AEW are the two major leagues right now. Okay, but WWE is always, I mean, the WWE has been around for a long time. Some people are like, it's been around since the 90s, you know, but before that it was WWF, and then before that it was WWF, Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and it was a major company. It was, you know, not just owned by Vince's dad, which is Vince J. McMahon, because we got Vince K. McMahon and then Vince J. McMahon, but then we go back to Jesse McMahon, which was Vince McMahon's granny, his granddad, and his grandma ran the company. And then they just kept sliding down the ranking. And then now, well, we have TKO and Hunter operating things, but it's mainly TKO and The Rock, because The Rock has more power than Triple H does, you know, but that's another video for another time, right? So anyways, Jordynne Grace will retain that championship over Mrs. Shaw, all right? Let's see. Next match, which really doesn't have tons of build to it, but it has a little bit of intriguiness to it, is Josh Alexander and Simon Gotch one-on-one. Simon Gotch really hasn't been in the limelight for many years, since his time being in Vulture Villains, along with his buddy who's on commentary for this show. And I think it's very intriguing, but I think that Simon Gotch is either going to have his partner help him win, or somebody else is going to help him win, because he's also, he had a lengthy stint in MLW with Filthy Tom Lawler. And Filthy Tom Lawler and him had an incredible chemistry, and were pretty dang good partners. So my question is, why is Simon Gotch attacking Josh Alexander? And does he have bigger and better plans? Because Josh Alexander is actually a little bit bigger than Simon Gotch, a little bit stronger, a little bit quicker, you know? And so if there isn't like a plan, if he doesn't have anybody actually helping him beat Josh Alexander, what was the real point of attacking him? All right, because you're gonna get your teeth knocked down your throat, pretty much, you know. So I mean, it's not a thing of, is the match going to be good, because the match is going to be incredible. Josh Alexander, Simon Gotch, going to have an incredible contest. Going to go out there and steal the show, just like the two of them can. And Josh Alexander somehow was, TNA did him dirty, I think, a little bit by just signing him to an extension. And, you know, I think that's playing him dirty a little bit, because I think when his deal is up, he's going to leave. And, you know, but if they would have played him clean and said, hey, man, What do you think about these options? He may have actually stuck around, but I mean, playing him dirty like that and just signing him to a deal when that's not what he wanted is not necessarily the best idea. And his wife is on commentary. She does the announcing, and if he leaves, she's probably going to leave too. So, then we have Frankie Kazarian taking on Eric Young, which is sort of a weird little situation because this is a singles match to determine the #1 contender for the TNA World Championship at Sacrifice, which is interesting. It's really interesting. Frankie Kazarian turned on Eric Young a few weeks ago, but it's over weird circumstances. It's like a little bit of jealousy. It's a little bit of like, I don't get the respect I deserve kind of thing. And I'm just like, there's not enough story here. Like these two guys right here could have 2 matches, back-to-back pay-per-view matches, and the second one be for that opportunity at the TNA #1 contendership for that heavyweight title. That's how good this feud could be, but it's like it's mediocre, and it doesn't mean as much. But I know that these two guys are going to go out there and they're going to burn the house down. And Eric Young is a multi-time TNA World Champion, so I don't think the direction right now. I don't think the direction is for him to become the man of the hour. I think the actual plan is for Frankie to pick up a huge victory in a tremendous contest. But it could be from outside interference. It could be from a distraction. Because, Eric Young did take on his former buddy, a Big Damo, in a match this past week. And, the match was decent. But, I mean, good Lord, I mean, we're not really looking for decent matches. We're looking for matches that are going to catapult us and be like, wow, that was a fantastic match. That was a phenomenal match, Some a 5-star match, if you will. So Frankie will win that. And then in the main event, we have Moose with his buddies, all right, Brian Myers and Eddie, taking on Alex Shelley, who's with Kevin Knight and Kushida, and it's No Surrender rules, which what I figured out was the basically the intergalactic jet settlers, or the system, if they can either team can throw in the towel for the other one. So my prediction is that Eddie Edwards or Brian Myers or Kevin Knight or Kushida will throw in the towel. So I believe that Moose is going to retain the championship. The dude just won the title. I don't think they're going to take the strap off him yet. All right. If they did, bold move. But I think that Kevin Knight is going to throw in the towel. And that's going to cause Alex Shelley the following, the next week on the programming on TNA Impact. It's caused him to sort of question why. Oh, that's the sound. It's going to ask him. It's going to question him. He's going to be questioning Kevin Knight and saying, "Hey, man, why did you do this? Why did you throw the towel in?" And then it's eventually going to become the Motor City Machine Guns feuding with the intergalactic jet settlers. All right. So, and that will be a really good match, a good way to get Kevin Knight over. But Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin will turn heel, and they'll feud with their buddies. Well, at that time, they won't be friends. They will be trying to kill each other and to become the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. But Kevin Knight needs to be put over. He's really good. But him and Kushida together, really, I mean, they're not as good as Kushida and Alex Shelley. So, so Moose is going to retain. But I think whoever throws in the towel will have a little bit of words with whomever is the loser. So if Brian Myers or Eddie Edwards throws in the towel, I think that Moose is going to feud with whoever throws the towel in. And same thing, Alex Shelley, I think he's going to go to war with Kevin Knight, and then Kushida, like, doesn't want a piece of it at first, but then he's like, hey, man, this is my buddy Kevin Knight. Just, break it up. And then eventually Chris Sabin gets involved and all this stuff. So eventually it will be Motor City Machine Guns against Kevin Knight and Kushida. So those are my TNA No Surrender predictions. I think the show will be all right. I don't think it's going to have anything to compete with when it comes to WWE Elimination Cahmber, though, because WWE Elimination Cahmber is going to be an epic show. You can't see it, but WWE Elimination Cahmber, and I know. Let's see what we have here. All right. So first, we have in the pre-show for the WWE Elimination Cahmber. So this is the WWE Elimination Cahmber predictions by Kryptonite Core. All right, John. Ooh. So the WWE has done a good job making sure that the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky look real dominant. Because that story with them stabbing Bayley in the back, which when I seen on SmackDown when Bayley was questioning Io Sky and she kept looking at her, Io Sky looked like she had some remorse in her heart at first. She looked like it wasn't her idea. Maybe it was Asuka. Maybe it was Kairi Sane. Maybe it was one of those ladies who came up with that demise of type of idea to take out Bayley, because Io didn't look like she was the one who came up with the plan. That's interesting. I think that's an incredible story. And so now at this event called WWE Elimination Cahmber, we have this amazing match. It's on the pre-show, but hey, just because it's on the pre-show doesn't mean it can't be a really nifty, incredible contest. All right. So we got the Kabuki Warriors. All right. Asuka and Kairi Sane, who are two-time women's World Tag Team Champions. All right. And it's been a few years that they had this straps, but they are incredible together. And Asuka is incredible by herself, but good Lord, man, get Kairi Sane to become the lady of the hour. Okay. They are defending those championships against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Now, Indy Hartwell, I could do without her, to be honest. I could do without her. I mean, good Lord. I'm going to say a lot of probably stuff in this that is not popular, to be honest, to be fair. But I'm going to say this. Candice LeRae, on the other hand, holy crap. Okay, so I used to watch her in Guerrilla Pro Wrestling, and also that was mainly where I watched her, where it was like, her versus Joey Ryan or her versus Johnny Gargano or the Young Bucks and her in some kind of match or whatever. Man, Candice LeRae is very, very talented. WWE is not using her to the potential in which she is given or what she can gift. All right. She is one of the very best women in wrestling right now. And they're having her in a tag team with Indy Hartwell. I know these two have history and these two go way back to NXT days. Candice LeRae is real good and she deserves to be treated real good. I mean, but right now she's not. And her husband's not being treated like that either. But I'll give them some time. All right. Trust the process, if you will. All right. So this match is on the pre-show for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, and I believe that the Kabuki Warriors are going to retain those straps. Okay, I don't have any feeling deep within my confines of my mind or soul that tells me that the titles are going to change hands. Nothing at all tells me that it's going to change hands. Now, I do think that this match should be given a little bit of time. Not like 20 minutes or anything, but I think that women should be given some time. Okay, Kabuki Warriors are obviously over, and they're top sellers, and they're top heels right now in the women's division. But Candice LeRae, man, she's overlooked and overanalyzed. She doesn't get any TV time at all, if any. So she deserves a little bit of time. And Indy Hartwell, yeah, she deserves some time too. She's young, she's athletic, she deserves a little bit of time, also to show what she can do as well. So I want these women to give some time on this program tonight. But that's not the best match on the night. All right. Now the next match I'm going to say is probably not going to be the best match on the night either. All right. But there's a lot of matches on this show that could be potentially the best match of the night. There's a lot of matches on this show that could be, the cream filling. They have a lot of matches on this show that could be the Star Spangled Banner. They have a lot of matches that could be a 5-star classic. That's what I mean, a 5-star classic. So you have Finn Balor and Damian Priest defending the WWE Undisputed World Tag Team Championships against the #1 contenders of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Oh boy! Now, so at the last show, I said that we have this Speedball Mountain. All right, Speedball Mike Bailey and Trent Seven being a tag team, a weird team, taking on the Rascals. Man, they're gonna get busted wide open. All right, chair shot right to the head. This match right here is going to surpass what that other match can do. All right, let's just say. All right, from one company to another company, it's going to surpass what they can do. And Judgment Day have had those straps for a week amount of time. This is their second reign. Finn Balor and Damian Priest are really successful as a tag team. They're really over as a tag team, and they're really the flair of these two, like arguing, bickering back and forth, has really ceased. In the last few months, it's actually become more about Damian and Rhea feuding and fighting and bickering back and forth rather than Finn and Damian, which is cool dynamic in the storytelling aspect of it, because it started off as Finn versus Damian, but now it's Finn versus Rhea. And it's cool to see how things change as time progresses. Also, how things can stay the same as time progresses. These two are a very successful team on the division. Now, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, also known as the New Catch Republic, which I guess that's what they're going by, the New Catch Republic. They're taking on them. Now, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate have recently been teaming up, and they have won a series of matches, and they've done really well. And they have a really good, strong history, British strong style, with good old Trent Seven. And they have captured many, many tag team titles together, many, many straps together, many, many titles together, right? Many classic wars and battles. I want to see this be the first match on the show. First match on the show. I know a lot of people say the WWE Women's Elimination Chamber needs to be the very first match, and I disagree. Simply because you need to get the fans on their feet. You need to get the fans prepared. You need to get the fans' heart pumping and entwined with what's going to happen on the show. And I think that Judgment Day versus Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate will get the fans on their feet, because the first match needs to be given some time. It needs to be given some dedication. It needs to be given some props. And those two teams are really freaking good. All right. I know that the Judgment Day are going to retain the straps, all right? Let's just say that. They're going to retain because, Pretty Deadly have teased that they're going to get involved, okay? So Pretty Deadly have teased that they're going to get involved because they said they're going to be coming back for Pete Dunne. They're going to, get back at Pete Dunne. So I believe that Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are going to be screwed over by and they're going to be cost the opportunity to become, the WWE Undisputed World Tag Team Champions by Pretty Deadly. And that feud's going to get pretty deadly real quick, isn't it? So we're going to have that tag team feud heat up real quick. But this match right here should kick off the night. And I would have Judgment Day retain those tag team titles. You need to keep Damian Priest red hot as well, because in the next few months he'll be cashing in. And he could cash in at Mania, but he could be cashing in at whenever, But I want this match to be the very first match, and I want it to be a star-spangled match, a 5-star classic, if you will. So, if you're tuning into the channel, you leave a comment or subscribe to the channel for more wrestling content. I try to post daily with wrestling content, but I also try to post different things. Sometimes I'm thinking about doing a live stream after some of the major shows like Dynamite or Monday Night Raw or even SmackDown to give feedback on what I think of happened on the show and do an hour, show or something like that to try to, say something about what feelings are and stuff within that show and try to gain a community from that. Because it's difficult on YouTube to gain a community from wrestling because people have the people that they watch, So I mean, but trust me, I know wrestling and I love wrestling, and it's one of the things that make me jump out of my chair all the time. So I picked Judgment Day to beat Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. And I know Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are going by the new Catch Republic, but it really it's counterintuitive because Drew Gulak's his group in NXT also is known as the Catch something, and it's really similar to this. So, yeah, I got a new subscriber. That's nice. That's always nice. Thank you for subscribing. So I think that Judgment Day have a good shot on making a good run with those straps, but I think that closer to Mania, but I actually would say at WrestleMania they will lose those titles, and I actually think that they're going to lose those straps still to Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa at WrestleMania 40. I know a lot of people were like, man, they lost the opportunity to Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. They did. Yes, they did. But I don't think that that's the end of their story. I think that their story, just like Cody Rhodes, is going to be fulfilled at WrestleMania. And it's overlooked. It's overanalyzed. And people aren't looking at it because for several reasons. But I think that at the end of the day, when the time stops ticking, they'll be the WWE Undisputed World Tag Team Champions. And then they'll be having really good matches with some really good teams. All right. Match number 2 that I would have on the show would be the WWE Women's Elimination Chamber match. And I would have this match go for a long, long time. I would have every single lady enter the match before I would have an elimination. All right. Ladies in this match include Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, got Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Raquel Rodriguez. These ladies in this match need to be built up. All right. They need to be built up. Let me say that again. They need to be built up. We have new ladies on this roster in this match. Tiffany Stratton, who was one of the top pinnacle ladies in NXT, who did really well in NXT, became NXT Women's Champion, and she has a really good gimmick. She really looks good in that as that gimmick. Raquel Rodriguez just returned, and there's so much hope with her. So much hope, all right? So much hope. And her former tag team partner, who's also in the match, Liv Morgan, and that's going to be interesting, won't it? Will they team up? Will they fight each other? What will happen? We'll find out soon enough. And Naomi, who returned after a little bit of a stay in Impact Wrestling, a little bit of stay in TNA. She made a visit this past week, helping her good friend Jordan Grace out, and she returns and she's in the match again. Bianca Belair and Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. Those two will most likely be the final two. All right, let's just say that. So all these ladies in this match have something in common. They all could all be the lady, all right? They could all be at that top spot. They all could be in that spot to challenge for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania 40, all right? And also something that some of these have in common is that they are the future of the WWE Women's locker room. Tiffany Stratton, Raquel Rodriguez, Rodriguez. they are definitely like the top of the pinnacle. All right, and this is to face Rhea Ripley for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. All right. Now I'm assuming that Rhea Ripley is still the champ by then. All right. She should be, but we're gonna wait and see. But this Elimination Chamber between these ladies, it's mainly about building these ladies up and making sure that they all look good. Because at the moment, they actually look really, really good. All right. Especially them making that surprise and having Raquel win the Battle Royal. Like a few years ago, I would have been like, man, WWE's not going to make any surprises. And normally back in a few years ago, they wouldn't make any surprises. They wouldn't make any adjustments. They would just, it would be catch, can. And you would be like, man, that was predictable as crap. And you're right. It was very predictable. It's very predictable. And this match right here, I don't think is going to be predictable. I would have all 6 of them be in the chamber at one time. I would have all 6 of them beating the holy heck out of each other, decimating one another, beating the heck out of each other, making sure that they look good, that they look dang good in the match. And now going into WrestleMania season, we need to start building some stories. All right. So Tiffany Stratton on her night 1, when she signed her WWE SmackDown contract, what did she do after she walked out of the general manager's office? Well, she smacked Mia Yim in the mouth, right? I'm going to call her Mia Yim because, that was her indie name, but, Michin, whatever. Mia Yim, she smacked her right in the mouth, and, we all must have had a fist fight right then and there. They would have a match later in the evening. Tiffany Stratton would win, right? Tiffany Stratton looks red hot on SmackDown, all right? They trust, they feel like they are comfortable with her. Feels like they want to give her a top spot at WrestleMania. Now, originally, I was thinking Bianca Belair was going to go one-on-one, go toe-to-toe with Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. And that still may happen. They also may team up at WrestleMania. But I think the more profitable guess at this moment, because Jade has yet to truly appear, like actually have a match on SmackDown, so truly appear on SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton and Bianca Belair is more of the noble guest that I'm going with for WrestleMania. So, and Liv Morgan, I'm not necessarily what sort of the direction is with her. And I'm not sure what the direction is for Naomi either, or Raquel. But I think that it's pretty clear who I'm selecting to win this match. I'm thinking the Bianca and Bayley, or Bianca and Bayley. I keep saying Bianca and Bayley. But I think Bianca and Becky Lynch are going to be the final 2 competitors, and I think these 2 need to be they need to be the final 2. Obvious reasons they need to be the final 2. They don't just need to be the final 2 because they are the best. All right. Like they're the 2 most over ladies in this match, but I would have Tiffany Stratton be up there with them as well. But I think that they need to be the final 2 for a simple reason, that they are the most deserving to be in that spot to face Rhea Ripley. I would actually probably be more on the side of Bianca Belair winning this match, but with them doing these like press conferences where they're teasing Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley continuously over and under again, just like they're teasing Rock and Roman taking on Cody and Seth over and under again every 17 minutes. I think that that's the direction that they're going, but I think that Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley would be more of an incredible contest at WrestleMania 40, just simply because they were teasing that a year ago. All right, they were teasing that 1 year ago, and Rhea Ripley kept looking at Bianca Belair like she was the one she wanted to face at WrestleMania, and I wanted that match. And I still want that match. I think that a lot of wrestling fans want that match, but they secretly don't want to say it out loud. But I think that those 2 would burn the building to the ground, all right? They would do so well together. But I think that Becky Lynch is going to get that opportunity at WrestleMania against Rhea Ripley, and the match is going to be great as well. It's going to be an incredible match, but I think Bianca deserves some credit, man. She's incredible. So I'm going to go with Becky, but I think that Becky is going to have an incredible run in that match. So, yeah. Now, obviously, by how I'm talking about Rhea Ripley, being the one who's defending that strap against Becky Lynch at Mania, obviously, Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax in the next match, with the Women's World Championship on the line, I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley. I know that in the last few weeks, Nia Jax has had her number, and she's begged her down and, almost broke her, all right? Almost broke her spirit, almost broke her ribs, almost broke every fabrication of her being. But you know what? At the end of the day, when the sun goes down at night, I think that Rhea Ripley looks up to the sky and sees the stars and has all that hope and has all that dedication that pops into her heart, and she knows that she can beat Nia Jax. All right, come on. So it's gonna be a hard hitting match. All right, somebody's gonna go through an announce table in this match. All right. And somebody's going to go through announce table, sometime during the show, hopefully. But I want to see this match be hard hitting. All right, I want to see this match be real physical. All right, and gives me so much hope. All right, that this match could be really good. But I want to see Rhea Ripley hit her riptide on Big O Nia, and I want to see her pin Nia Jax in the center of the ring and retain that strap, because I don't want her to lose the title to Nia. No, there's no. I mean, maybe there is money with Nia Jax being champion, but going into this WrestleMania season and having Rhea Ripley lose that strap to Nia Jax, that's like suicide mission number 304. And nobody in their right mind wants to see that because, well, they don't. All right. Nobody wants to see Nia Jax be women's champion. We seen what happened last time. Ratings plummeted. All right, come on. Nobody wants to see that. So Rhea Ripley retains the strap. All right, then we go to the main event. We go to the main Christmas center of it all. We go to the main event, which is the men's Elimination Chamber match, to see whom is going to go to WrestleMania to face Seth Rollins in hopefully one of the main events, but it may not even be close to the main event. But it is for the WWE World's Heavyweight Championship. All right. Well, we got Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton. We got Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and the United States champion Logan Paul fighting in a elimination chamber to see who can get that opportunity. Now, in the women's match, I said that I was going to say that all of them should be in the match before elimination happens. I don't think that I don't think that the same way with the men. I think that the men should have eliminations almost right away. All right, and I think the first two people starting the match needs to be Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. All right, these two right here almost went toe to toe, and they almost got into a fist fight live on SmackDown this past week. All right, me personally, I was waiting and seeing if that actually was going to happen. But it didn't happen, did it? No, it didn't happen, but it needs to happen. It needs to take place, all right? And how it needs to take place, it needs to take place inside the chamber, all right? Logan Paul's incredible. And he's done a lot better than I thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to sink down to the bottom and be forgotten. But no, he's done pretty dang well for himself. So I think that him and Kevin Owens need to go out there and they just need to beat the holy heck out of each other. They need to decimate one another. But I think that Kevin Owens, at the end of the day, needs to pin the United States champion in the center of the chamber and claim that he deserves a shot at that championship one more time. Now, is that going to happen at WrestleMania? Yes, maybe, no, I don't know. But I would maybe have it be a multi-man match at WrestleMania for the United States strap. LA Knight, he deserves that shot at that strap, and he probably will walk out as the new United States champion, LA Knight, So, yeah, and I think that definitely will probably take place. But we go to like the final two competitors, or I will say the final three, because I think Bobby Lashley deserves to be the guy who's challenging Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But I think that there's just so many things that he's going through in the storyline that sort of go against that. So when he was having his qualifying match, actually, I was like, man, Karrion Kross, this is your opportunity, buddy. You want to be noticed? You want to be relevant? Screw Lashley out of that opportunity to be in that chamber. What happened? Authors of Pain didn't show up. Neither did, Paul Ellerington didn't show up. Karrion Kross and his lady today, nobody showed up. Nobody screwed the dude over. What is going on here today? So we have this factor in this whole entire deal with this feud between these two, power groups, and nobody's laying the finger on each other. So, or lately they haven't been laying a finger on each other. So what my prediction is that Karrion Kross is going to screw Lashley over in the chamber, and that feud is probably going to lead into a WrestleMania match. It might be a 6-person match. It might be a one-on-one contest. I'd prefer one-on-one. Lashley versus Karrion Kross one-on-one would be incredible. Then you can have Authors of Pain and the good old, money bag tag team. Let me take a little swag here today. Then you could have them take on, Bobby Lashley's little henchman, and a good old tag team match later in the show, or you can even have that be on the pre-show or something. I don't know. But the main purpose is they need to have that one-on-one match, all right? You need to get Karrion Kross over. You need to make him look more relevant, because at the moment, the dude is forgettable. And if you're not screwing Lashley out of the opportunity to be to be the world champion, or get the opportunity to be the world champion, what are you doing? All right. So they need to do that. All right. So Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, man, those two, both of them deserve it. Randy Orton just came back from almost a career-ending injury. All right. He was gone for close to 2 years. All right. And he rarely, before that point, rarely took time off, rarely got injured, but he got hurt pretty bad. And when he comes back, his old tag team partner, Matt Riddle, is gone, exiled from the company. And we got to move forward. And Matt Riddle has moved forward, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton are going to go out there, and they're going to annihilate each other. They need to be the final two, and we need to give them at least 10 minutes of just the two of them in the match by themselves. But I think Drew has shown his tendency of being a little psychopath throughout multiple matches, not just his recent matches, but also what he did to Punk, and them badgering that up and making it look like he was the one at hand and was the one who is responsible. Is responsible for everything that happened to Punk. He's taken full blame of everything that's taken place to Punk, and I truly think that that's a good way to get Drew over as a heel. But I think another good way is for him to win this chamber by cheating and beating Orton, pinning Orton in the center of the ring, and then at WrestleMania having that one-on-one match with Seth Rollins. And I know, man, deep down, I don't want to see it again. I really don't want to see Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre again, but I feel like that's where the company's going. I would rather see him versus LA Knight, to be honest. I'd rather see him versus Lashley, or even Orton. Orton and Seth have history at WrestleMania, to be honest. They do. Orton's beat him at WrestleMania before. But I'd rather see something different at WrestleMania. All right, it's WrestleMania. It needs to be something different. It needs to be something spicy. I mean, I want to see something different. And we've in Seth Rollins' current World Championship reign, we have seen multiple occurrences where that match has happened, where Seth Rollins has defended the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre, and we've seen the same outcome. Now, Drew said, I lost because of these reasons. You lost because, you just don't muster up to Seth Rollins at the moment. All right. So I'm going to have to say that Drew's going to win. He's going to win the chamber by cheating, viciously, maliciously, and Orton's going to be peed off about it. Or maybe he doesn't even cheat like, crazy. Maybe he doesn't try to break the arm of Randy Orton, but maybe he does grab the tights. So much so that, he rolls up Orton, and Orton is just so shocked and overcome with, hatred for Drew that he attacks him after the match, and they have a little bit of a story going into WrestleMania. All right, gives Orton something to do, right? But Drew's going to win, and then probably at WrestleMania he will become the WWE World Champion. And then when CM Punk returns, which people are like, oh man, CM Punk returning, CM Punk will be able to become the man of the hour by defeating Drew McIntyre. And it goes full circle instead of just stopping halfway and being like, what's next? What's next? Well, CM Punk becomes the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, technically the third in WWE history, even though technically it's not because, you know, they had the WCW/WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but whatever. And CM Punk wins the World Championship. So that will probably happen like at SummerSlam or something. Or maybe Money in the Bank. You know, CM Punk has a lot of history there. So, you know. So that's my predictions on the WWE Elimination Chamber. Now, we got one person watching the video right now. That's great. If you can, leave a message in the chat. I'm going to be I'm going to be on the video chat for a little bit longer because I want to talk about some other things that happened in wrestling. I went through the TNA No Surrender predictions. Also went through the WWE Elimination Chamber predictions as well. I think both shows are going to be good, but obviously WWE prediction, I think they're going to be more spot on. I think that show is going to be a much better show. Oh yeah, got to pop my next one. But anyways, I think that show is going to be better. But some of the other things that happened in wrestling. So let's take a look here. So last night, New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I don't know how many of you actually watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I definitely do watch New Japan Pro Wrestling from time to time. And then in the last few months, they've actually had a couple of former WWE guys who have been released make appearances. So first, they had at one of their first shows, closer to the beginning of the year, they had formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, good old Nicholas. He made his debut by just being in the audience, and later in the show, he would get into a little bit of an altercation, a little bit of a fight with David Finlay, which is the son of Fit Finlay, all right, who is a champion, all right. So that fight would break out, and everybody would be like, "Wow, what's happening with Nic Nemeth in this company of New Japan Pro Wrestling, right?" Nic Nemeth. Well, what's going to happen with this guy in this company, right? I'm like, well, let's keep watching. Let's keep our eyes on the screen, and then later in the show, we have Matt Riddle from WWE make his appearance, and he actually on that show, the only thing he did was challenge it was Tanahashi to a championship match at the following event, which happened. Oh my good lord, oh boy. Okay, so we had the match. So we had the New Beginnings show happen. All right, the New Beginnings. All right, so the New Beginnings show took place, and me personally, I was like, "Wow, let's see what happens." So Zack Sabre Jr., who's incredible, one of the greatest technical wrestlers today, he wins his match against against a legend. All right, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, against a legend. All right, go a little bit farther down the show. Okay, we're not going to talk about too many of these matches, but, you know, Show becomes the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion by defeating El Desperado. Good match, really good match. Show deserves this opportunity. His first reign as the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. I think he'll do a tremendous job. Evil successfully defended his never openweight championship. Good Lord, man. Yeah, that's great. And then we have the two... We have the two main event matches, all right, for the evening. All right, we have night 2, which is taking place tonight, which I don't I mean, there's nothing on that show that really intrigues me. You know, no huge, massive title fight besides the massive title fight between Naito and his former partner, former ally, former best buddy in the entire world, Sonata. But, you know, that's besides the point. It'd be cool if Sonata walked out as a two-time IWGP World's Heavyweight Champion, but I'm just saying, you know, it'd be awesome. First, I couldn't believe when I read this morning. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe this at all. But we had Matt Riddle defeat Tanahashi, who is the president, the current president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is weird. It's really crazy, right? Former wrestlers being presidents of companies. I mean, good Lord. It's been happening since like the 70s, right? The 60s, all right? We've had people great as Gorilla Monsoon. You know, even Vince McMahon, you know. Well, Vince McMahon wasn't really a president, but, you know, he was a figurehead. But even though Tanahashi and Matt Riddle had an incredible contest where Matt Riddle would defeat him to become the New Japan Pro Wrestling Television Heavyweight Champion. I think that's great. Matt Riddle, all right, his time in WWE, okay, so his time in NXT was okay. It was okay. I think his most memorable thing was winning the Dusty Cup with Pete Dunne, and they were an awkward team, but they were good. All right, they were good because Matt Riddle overall is a really good talent, a solid talent, but on the main roster, what the heck did they do to him? He wasn't the same old Matt Riddle, was he? No, not at all. He wasn't the same old Matt Riddle at all. And it's like they flipped everything that he was about, like made him into more of a comedy character. And I'm not really much into Matt Riddle being a comedy character. But that's what they try to do with the scooter crap. And I'm like, okay, but Matt Riddle's more than just that. And he proved it in this match against Tanahashi, becoming the new IWGP television champion. And I think that this is only good things because New Japan Pro Wrestling, I don't know how many of you watch wrestling, but probably a lot of you, you've heard that they lost Will Ospreay. They lost Okada. Oh man, they're losing other talents too. All right, a lot of people are like, "Hey, man," and they're choosing AEW because obvious reasons. AEW, they can still go to New Japan. They have like that deal, that friendly partnership with New Japan at the moment, and they have this bond between the two companies, and that's tremendous. That's great. That's great. All right, that's tremendous. But I would actually like to see them go to WWE instead. Not because I'm like a WWE mark or anything like that, but because I think that AEW is a little overpopulated, and eventually some of them, like Jay White, we've seen what actually happened to Jay White. Came in red hot, white hot, and now over time, woo, he gets fizzled down to zero. But he went becoming like a former IWGP World Champion to, well, a six-man tag team champion, and he's not even like booked to be in the main event right now in AEW. That's tremendous, isn't it? Not really. So I know you can't book everybody to be a superstar, but they have too many superstars in AEW at the moment. So, anywho, Matt Riddle wins the IWGP World Junior or World Television Championship. I'm super excited. So I'm like some of my words. Then the second thing that really excited me was, and it was actually the thing that got me to look up the results of the show. So when I seen this, I was like, "Whoa, is this like, you know, just clickbait?" It was not clickbait. So Nic Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, defeats the former IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion David Finlay, who only had the championship for 50 days. Oh, good Lord, man. 50 days. And you were the first champion? Oh, man. Because they combined the IWGP United States Championship and another championship to become the IWGP Global Championship, IWGP Global Champion. And I'm sure that these two went out there and they had a crazy cool match, you know. I'm sure that Dolph did a crazy, you know, selling job again, like he always does. But Nicholas deserves this, all right? He deserves this opportunity. Now, a lot of people are like, a championship that Dolph deserves or Nick deserves. I mean, he when he was the United States champion, he did tremendous. When he was the Intercontinental champion, he did tremendous. But then when he became the world champion in WWE, it's like WWE just forgot who he was. We're like, who's this guy? How'd he get the world championship? And I'm like, man, you made him the world champion. Like, if you don't want him to be the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, if you don't want him to be like the world champion, don't book him to be the world champion. Don't make him like favorable to be that in that spot. Like, you're in control, Vinnie Mac, or he was in control. Now he's like, going to be behind bars in a couple of months. But don't like point at the fans and say, fans, you're the reason. He ain't the reason. You're booking this crap, So, I mean, he could have been a major success story in the WWE. He could have been a major success story, but the WWE, they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball massive. And I'm going to guess that in the next year, Nicholas is going to be the next AJ Styles. Like when AJ Styles left, formerly known as Impact Wrestling, when he left Impact Wrestling, and Dixie Carter tried everything that she could think of to sign him to a lucrative deal. AJ Styles played with her for a little bit and was like, give me some more cash. Give me some more moolah, baby. And eventually he left. Give me a second. Eventually that boy left. And when he left, what did he do? He went to New Japan Pro Wrestling. He reinvented himself. He became the leader and the founder of the Bullet Club. All right, Nic Nemeth. He's going to do similar things over there in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's going to reinvent himself. He's going to become the most wanted wrestler in professional wrestling. Man, I'm so excited. He's going to become the most wanted man. All right, and that's his slogan right now. He's the most wanted man because he is the most wanted man. All right, people are going to want him to be at their shows. Bookers are going to want him to be at their shows. And eventually, I would say in the next year and a half to 2 years, he is going to be signed to an AEW contract. WWE, you screwed up. You messed up. You dropped the ball. Man, it's a gutter ball, buddy, because you fumbled. All right, Dolph is not – he's not done, man. He's going to continue. He's going to do exactly what AJ Styles did. He's going to become – IWGP World's Heavyweight Champion. He's making history, all right? And the history is speaking for itself. When he went to that show, he had a tremendous match, all right? Him and David Finlay, they had the main event spot and he became the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. And it was a 23-minute match, and it was a great match, all right? It was a tremendous match, all right? So, let's see. Night number 2, I'm gonna stroll through this real quick, but I'm gonna try to find out if either one of those guys has a match. Matt Riddle does have a match. It's a multi-tag match. Okada's in that match too. Isn't that amazing? Okada and Matt Riddle in the same ring together. That'd be cool. We have the Gorillas of Destiny versus the Gorillas of Destiny. That's cool. Nicholas, he does have a match against Finn Balor's former tag team partner that Finn Balor stabbed in the back, multiple years ago. They're taking on the Bullet Club War Dogs, David Finlay and Guy Goto, in a tag team match. Now, this should be a decent tag team match. It's funny that Nick is teaming up with Finn Balor's former tag team partner when he's Prince Devitt. Before he became the first leader of the Bullet Club, he teamed up with good old Faithful. And they were in a very successful tag team because I think they were either 2 or 3-time IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions. I think it was 2-time. And they were very successful. And now Nicholas is his tag team partner. I don't think Nicholas and him will remain tag team partners, but yeah. And then the main event for night number 2 is Naito defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Sanada. Sanada is an incredible athlete. He's the former let's go through it real quick. He's a former TNA X Division champion, which that was interesting because he was in James Storm's weird stable, which didn't really make any sense because he had like these whole random people in the group, and Sonata was like the chosen one of the group or something. And then recently, I mean, he's also been a multi-time tag team champion with Evil in, IWGP World Tag Team Champion with Evil. I think they were like maybe 2-3-time tag team champions together. But now Sonata takes on his former teacher because they were in the big old faction together, which actually includes Roosh and all those guys as well. But that's the AAA version of the group, or AEW version of the group now. But these two guys, the former leader, the former mentor and student, are taking on each other on night number 2 in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. And man, I know this is a prediction video mainly for TNA No Surrender and WWE Elimination Cahmber, but my prediction is that Naito is going to retain that strap. Now, I like Sonata. I think he's really freaking good. And I want to see him as world champion like ASAP. But I don't think that that's where the company is going at the moment. And plus, here's another factor of the whole schedule burst. Naito won the title 50 days ago because he won the title the same night or the second night that, David Finlay won his title. That was actually a triple threat match. And that triple threat match, who was in that triple threat match? That's a good question, because that triple threat match was actually between Will Ospreay, Jon Moxley, and David Finlay, which David Finlay won the match, and it was my good Lord, look at who was in the match. And it was for the IWGP Global Championship, and it was a unification match between the IWGP United States Championship and the IWGP United Kingdom Championship, and it was amazing, right? It was amazing. But I have to say right now in this time frame that David Finlay, I think that he was the right pick because the company at that time knew that Will was losing. They knew that Will Ospreay was going to leave. And they knew that Moxley was, not going to have a full-time deal with him. So, they gave it to David Finlay. And Finlay needed the victory. He needed it. Which his younger brother, just signed with the WWE, and he will be appearing on WWE NXT very, very shortly. And actually, I wouldn't mind David Finlay showing up in NXT as well, which could happen because Finlay is actually a producer, an agent for WWE at the moment. So you could have the whole entire family, so we could have a new leader of the Bullet Club very, very shortly. So that's interesting. So in this video was only supposed to be about 2 predictions, but I sort of went over 3. Now, I don't go over the whole entire night 2 because I'm going to be honest with you. Some of these people's names I can't pronounce because I don't speak Japanese too well. So, but I can pronounce some of the main people's names. Good Lord, man. And so Naito and Sonata, that is going to steal the dang show, I'll tell you that. So yeah. I am so excited about that. That's amazing. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else in the world of professional wrestling that I need to discuss. If you guys have any questions or concerns or comments, leave them in the comment section. There's 0, nothing. And if you guys would like to subscribe to the channel, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. I would love to, I talk about wrestling content a lot. I'm going to do my diligence to do live streams more often because I feel like I could build up more, get more buzz on who I am and what I'm about and what I know and all that stuff within a live stream, rather than being in this little tiny box, in this little tiny container, trying to show who I am and what I know about professional wrestling. So, I mean, it's fun doing live streams. I mean, you have people commenting, you have people watching, you have people learning, you have people adapting, you have people learning about different wrestling products and stuff. But it's also crazy in a different way too, because you're also learning about professional wrestling as well. I know a lot about wrestling, so I guess I'm going to go over a few different things, I guess, as well, with the world of wrestling, because I mean, I have two people watching, so I guess I'll talk about a few other things that I think are intriguing. So the other day on AEW Rampage, we had Dustin Rhodes team up with the Von Erichs, which in wrestling wrestling is known for having multiple families. Like Roman Reigns and The Rock the other day were like, "Oh, these are all our family members," Oh boy. Yes, they have a lot of family members, and they actually have two of them they have three of them that are like top prospects of the WWE right now. You got Lance Noyati, or whatever the heck his name is. Lance, he's former MLW World Tag Team Champion. He's being looked at right now to join them and actually join the Bloodline. You have also Zilla Fatu, who's being looked at. Oh, good Lord. And I thought he was a small dude. I thought he was a junior heavyweight. He ain't no junior heavyweight. He's a big boy, big old birthy looking dude. And then you have, who's that last guy? Oh yeah, Jacob Fatu. And he is old, man. If you want to talk to somebody like Umaga, that is the closest thing you can get to Umaga. And he's a former MLW World Heavyweight Champion, and has some classic battles with Alexander Hammerstone. And my good Lord, man, those two guys went to war with each other, and they had some good battles. But anyways, Dustin Rhodes, he teamed up with the Von Erichs, and Marshall, trying to remember both their names. Good Lord. Ross and Marshall, they are incredible. Okay, so they were actually in MLW at one time too. Look, we got all these MLW guys, right? They were actually MLW World Tag Team Champions, and they actually I think they still hold the longest reign with those tag team straps, which is incredible, right? So they actually made an appearance, and they teamed up with the American Nightmare's brother, Dustin Rhodes. And it's funny, you got one family teaming up with another family, which I don't really remember the Von Erichs and the Rhodes being, "Oh, hey, what's going on, brother?" Because most of the Von Erichs, sadly, they passed away, at a young age, and you didn't really have time for Dustin Rhodes to come into the shot. So you probably had like a Kerry Von Erich versus the American Dream of Dusty Rhodes or something, brother. But or maybe you had some of the other brothers, like David Von Erich or whatever, take on good old, the American Dream. But, Dustin Rhodes was probably, a little young to face any of these dudes, to be honest. So they won their match, I believe. And speaking of tag teams, the Blackpool Combat Club, I did make a little thing about this the other day where Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli were having a stare down with FTR, Dax and Cash, and they actually had the match this past week. And good Lord, it was exactly what I wanted. It was a hard-hitting, very physical altercation between two teams. Now, I'm not going to say two of the best teams. Now, FTR, I would say they are one of the best teams, but Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley, excuse me, that is one of the weirdest combustible tag teams I could ever see, because I want to see those two fight each other rather than team up with each other. I want to see these two rip each other's hair out rather than team up with each other. I want to see these two just break each other's spirits. And also something else I want. I know I'm just speaking off the cuff now, but I just want to see Claudio Castagnoli reunite with Chris Hero and Sarah Del Rey and become the kings of wrestling one more time. because I mean I go way back to the Ring of Honor days where we had Kings of Wrestling reigning supreme, and I want to see them go out there and I want to see them do their deal. All right, and Chris Hero, I mean, he still roams the wrestling landscape. KO with my elbow, and I can cuss with my kicks. And I mean, good Lord, come on, man! I want to see him and Claudio team up one more time and become the longest reigning AEW World Tag Team Champions or something. Good Lord, come on. I can't be the only one out there that thinks this way. That'd be exciting news right there. And if you want to get them back together, you might as well get the American Wolves back together, Eddie Edwards, Davey Richards. You could get Red Dragon back together, which there was actually rumors that good old Bobby Fish was thinking about coming back to AEW and, doing a little teaming up with Kyle O'Reilly when he's actually able to compete once more. And he hasn't made up his mind what he wants to do at the moment. But actually at the moment, Bobby Fish is cleared. He's good. He's healthy. He's ready to go. He's ready to go fistful into it. And the other guy, well, he's still injured. So, Anyways, I went over 2 pay-per-view predictions. So TNA No Surrender predictions. I went over what's the other one I went over? WWE Elimination Cahmber predictions. And then I went over a little bit of my reactions to Matt Riddle becoming the new IWGP Television Champion, and Nic Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler, becoming the new IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. And then I just, spoke off the cuff about a few other things as well. If you could, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And this video wasn't supposed to go this long, but I'm happy that it did. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel, but at the same time, I'm trying to learn from my mistakes in the past of my old YouTube channels, and I'm trying to just grow. Reach out there and grow. And mature myself as I go. So I'll be coming up with different content as well. I want to stick around to what I'm currently doing, as well as going on my walks and stuff, and eventually getting into posting those videos as well, because I feel like people would like to see those. And yeah, so anywho, thank you for joining my live stream today. And I appreciate everybody who has joined the live stream. There was actually quite a few people who joined. And hopefully in the near future, I can actually have some people comment and have some people get interactive and have a little bit of a conversation as well, because that's somewhat what it's about as well. It's about having that community and having that bond and having that relationship where you feel comfortable and having that conversation. And I want to have that kind of relationship with people. So I hope you guys have a tremendous weekend. All right, tremendous. And I hope if you do watch either event, I hope you guys have a tremendous time watching those events. And I will chit-chat with you guys soon. Until next time, continue watching wrestling, all right? Continue watching wrestling. And, be hopeful, be faithful, and I will talk to you guys next time on Kryptonite Core. Subscribe if you haven't, though, all right? And share this video, all right? But, yeah, I'll talk to you guys very shortly. I will have more wrestling content arriving very shortly. Peace. On the streets until next time, baby boy.